judges are ready. The fighters are ready. The boxing world is ready.
The fight starts now!
Let's go.
How do you like it? On the show.
So aggressive, so focused.
It all comes down to this. With a corner knockdown. Still the undisputed champion of the world. DAZN Fight Night Countdown.
Welcome to Star at Frisco, Texas, where on Saturday night, Bam Rodriguez will attempt to become a two-division unified champion when he takes on Pumalela Cafu. Sergio Moore and Chris Mannix here. Sergio, this is, I think, a fantastic fight. Bam Rodriguez, who is the class of the 115-pound division, who has knocked out a lot of the legends, who has knocked out Sonny Edwards. Now he gets another opportunity against an undefeated world title holder. If nothing else, we can say about Bam Rodriguez, he is not looking for any soft touches.
No, he's a giant slayer. That's what Bam Rodriguez is. And he's one of these champions that doesn't want to stay busy fight. That doesn't excite him. He wants the names. He wants to collect belts. He wants to unify. And at 25 years old, I mean, this guy is a young fighter doing what the greats are doing in the 30s and 35s. So, look, I think Bam Rodriguez knows what he wants. Robert Garcia sees something special. We're watching greatness. Enjoy it.
To achieve further greatness, to use your words, he's going to have to go through a fighter that is a relative unknown amongst U.S. boxing fans. Pumalela Cafu made his bones in South Africa, won his title over in Japan. And the one thing you can say about him is that he has defied expectations virtually every step of the way. He wasn't expected to win some of these fights in South Africa. He wasn't expected to win a decision over in Japan. What kind of challenge is Bam in for in this fight?
Well, look, Cafu is undefeated. He has the African spirit, the African warrior soul, and he has a good right hand. He has pretty good power in that right hand, but it's the footwork that he's going to have to compete with Bam Rodriguez. Bam is all about angles, and he uses it from that southpaw stance. So you can bet that he's going to have issues with the footwork, and I think Cafu is going to have to land that right hand early. He's going to have to get the respect of a fighter that keeps moving and not staying in front of him, and it's the right hand that you got to use against southpaws. So look for the right hand for Cafu, either to the chest, the head, or the body, but that's going to be the main key.
You know, when we talked to Cafu this week, one thing that stood out to me was he has a game plan, but I think his game plan includes doing a lot of things he's not necessarily comfortable doing. And I wonder if you get in with Bam Rodriguez and you're thinking too much, and if you're thinking, all right, when he does this, I got to do that. When he does this, I should do that. That's when you get into trouble, Sergio. Against a puncher like Bam Rodriguez, you may know what you should do in those situations. But it's another thing to be eating a jab off the face and then see someone come around the side and hit you with an uppercut.
Bam's an instinctual fighter. He's not planning. He's not a thinker. You know, everything comes off the foundation from the lower body. And when he does, he has the advantage because he's a left-hander. But he also has power, and he also has volume, and he also has body shots and uppercuts. He has everything that you can think of. Cafu has a good right hand. He's a little fresher. He's longer, but other than that, he brings nothing to the table to compete with Bam other than he's undefeated and also a champion. But he has momentum coming off the best career victory. But yeah, you can't count out these South African or African fighters. They just bring something, a lot of hunger.
Yeah, and I mentioned how Cafu wasn't supposed to win some of these fights. He's not supposed to win this one either. We know that there is another fight for Bam Rodriguez already in place. If Bam wins this fight against Cafu, he is going to get another unification fight in November over in Saudi Arabia against Puma Martinez. Turki Al-Sheikh announced that fight already. And you could see in the eyes of Cafu during our fighter meetings, he took that a little bit personally. He said if Bam Rodriguez does not come with his best game, he's not only going to lose, but he's going to get knocked out. Do you think that is a variable here?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because they're already looking at Puma Martinez when they haven't gotten past Pumalele. So this is the thing. Cafu, I mean, he's an undefeated champion. He carries himself with like an undefeated champion, and you could bet that's a slap in the face for him to already be planning another fight against another champion. No, you don't do that, man. You gotta really concentrate on the task in hand, and that's only going to embitter and actually make Cafu a more dangerous fighter.
Yeah, I think Bam is focused. I don't think he's overlooking Cafu. But if I'm Cafu, I'm looking at these posters and these press releases and all these interviews that are being done, talking about Bam versus Puma in the fall, and I'm definitely using that as a little bit of extra juice. It is a great card from top to bottom, but the co-main event I think is really interesting. You've got Diego Pacheco, undefeated super middleweight contender, going up against Trevor McCumbee, who we last saw giving Caleb Plant all he could ask for last year, wound up getting stopped late in that fight. But, you know, when I look at all the fights Pacheco has had, the good fights that he's had on his resume, this to me is the toughest test to date. Trevor McCumbee is not just some guy with a glossy record. He was a decorated amateur. He was considered a rising prospect / contender early in his career. He had it derailed in the middle of it with myriad issues, but he's another guy that is coming here to win this fight. What kind of challenge is Pacheco in for here?
I think he's gonna have his hands full because McCumbee he's coming out that really good performance against Caleb Plant. You know, a fight where he dropped Plant on more than one occasion. He was able to frustrate Plant, and Plant's on the world championship level. He fought Canelo. You know, he's a real deal, and it's hard to look good against a style like Plant. McCumbee was able to frustrate him in spots, and he did it with power, and he did it with rolling with the shots and coming back from the same side. That's a tricky thing to really prepare for. Diego Pacheco has been evolving, man. He's like a shark. Whether he's popping you up top, he's digging you up bottom, pick you up with uppercuts, and he's doing it perfectly. They're matchmaking him perfectly, you know, all the way to a title shot, and this is just another case of that. McCumbee's no joke, man. He's going to give him everything he can handle, but Diego Pacheco should pass the test.
You know what I love about Pacheco is that he is an electric knockout artist to the body. Like, you look at some of his recent fights, whether it's Maciek Sulecki, Jack Cullen, name the fighter. He's either hurt them or knocked them out with body shots. But he's not a prolific body puncher. He is a judicious body puncher. And one of the things he said to us this week was, he's like, I know I can hurt people to the body, but I'm 6'3". It takes a lot to lean down there sometimes and land those body shots. As his game continues to develop, he is going to have, I think, one of the most complete offensive arsenals in all of boxing, certainly in all of the super middleweight division. You mentioned the improvements that you've seen from him. Like, where have you seen those improvements? Because I think you know, every one of these fights, he's getting a little bit better.
Footwork, believe it or not, it just goes down to the foundation, because I think, you know, when you're such a tall fighter, you think that the jab's going to be the key to everything. And it is, and most of the time. But if you don't have good footwork, when you start getting better challenges, when you start getting athletic fighters that can move around, that's when footwork comes into handy. That's where foot speed comes into handy. That's when doubling and tripling the jabs, you know, to close that range. Footwork, I think that's what's been impressive with Diego Pacheco. And of course, everything you just mentioned with the body shots and the fact that he's been, you know, knocking out fighters. He has power, he has range, he has speed, but he uses his feet and he puts himself in a position to really put all that oomph behind those punches, and it starts with the bottom up.
You know, we're not looking past Trevor McCumbee because you can't, because he's a really good fighter. But after watching Hamza Shiraz do what he did against Edgar Berlanga, if Diego Pacheco is able to have a similarly spectacular performance, I don't want to hear about any other fight but Diego Pacheco against Hamza Shiraz. To me, that is one of, if not the best fight that you can make in the super middleweight division. That is bombs away between two really good offensive fighters.
Oh, man, after what Shiraz did against Berlanga, you know, Berlanga, he convinced everyone that he was going to wipe the floor with Shiraz, and it was the other way around. It was a beatdown. That was a career-defining beatdown, and you can bet that he has everything going for him. The momentum, he has the power, he has the speed. Now he has Andy Lee in his corner, which I love. The stars are aligning for Hamza Shiraz, who has a lot of backing, and he has a lot of talent and a lot of future. What he did to Berlanga, a star was born.
Let's see if he can do it to Diego Pacheco. If Pacheco can beat Trevor McCumbee, that is going to be a great fight. We've got two fantastic fights on this card. Remember, it is a doubleheader on DAZN over in the UK. You got Usyk against Dubois, part 2, and then stick with us later in the evening. Bam Rodriguez, Pumalela Cafu, Diego Pacheco against Trevor McCumbee. It is going to be a phenomenal night on Saturday on DAZN.
I think Jesse Bam Rodriguez is a future pound-for-pound #1 of the sport.
He pinned him down and knocked him down.
He just walked right through it.
Came to the gym at first, you could tell there's something special about him.
He's already a multi-weight world champion.
That's flyweight supremacy by Bam Rodriguez.
This guy has so many levels to get to.
Bam Rodriguez is a special fighter.
We want him to unify the division at Superfly. This kid has it all.
And he stands over the former king. Bam Rodriguez takes the throne.